Chemical Guys Honeydew Snow Foam. Is it worth it? How much does it foam? With what pressure washer can you use it? Can you use it in a rinseless solution? Well, we're going to find out all those questions in this video. So, let's get started.
On a new adventure.
Right, hey guys, it's Carter from Carter's Auto Detailing, back with another video, and this video is actually going to be the first product review for the channel. I know I made a turtle wax video not too long ago, but this video is going to be the first full-fledged review of a product, and I'm going to be giving it a rating scale from 0 to 10. Very excited for this video. So, what are we going to be reviewing? We are going to be reviewing Honeydew Snow Foam from Chemical Guys. This is a really iconic soap from the brand. I know a lot of people are aware of it. Maybe some people haven't tried it just yet. So yeah, this is going to be my first product review, an in-depth product review on this YouTube channel. So if you guys can just please leave a like and subscribe down below if you're new to the channel, so that way you can see more future videos like this down the road. And also leave a comment to show your opinions, your thoughts of Honeydew Snow Foam after you have watched the whole video, so that way you can get a new understanding and perhaps a brand new idea that you want to hit down in the comment section below this video. So for this product review, I'm going to be rating Honeydew Snow Foam from 0 to 10 points. I'm going to be grading Honeydew Snow Foam off of 5 things and 5 things only. The first main critique I will give is the ease of use. How easy is it to work with? Can you dilute it properly? Is it sun friendly when outdoors? I will be criticizing on how easy it is to use when on detailing. The versatility of the product. Can you use it outside of just a general car wash? Where can you use Honeydew Snow Foam? I'll also be checking, and this is going to be a big one, the cleaning capabilities of Honeydew Snow Foam, because that's probably the main reason why you would pick up a car soap in the first place. We're also going to be checking out the foaming action, because it is completely misleading for certain brands to showcase their product in a specific way, but they don't tell you what they're using, the quality of the water, and all that sort of stuff. So I will be showing you guys the foaming action, and we're going to be checking out the price value, because that is going to be the huge factor to see if this soap is for you guys or not. So let's get started with this review. First, let's start with the pH test and lubricity on different dilutions. Since Chemical Guys soaps are often pH neutral with different chemistry solutions on each soap, thought I'd just test it out to show you guys what is on the meter. My pH testing device is the reliable and brand respected Milwaukee MW102 with a pH and temperature probe with an accuracy of plus or minus 0.02 pH and 0.5 degrees Celsius. This makes it a reliable testing device for our experiments. For our tools, I will be using a plastic measuring cup and a plastic spoon to properly mix our solution. I will dilute the product even further on each test, so once I reach a high dilution, I will pour the solution onto a larger container just so I have enough space to do some analysis and not waste any product. I will also be using deionized water for the pH testing, and while I could have just used distilled water, I feel like in a more realistic scenario you will be using tap water for the soap. So in this experiment, I will be using deionized water to factor out all of the mineral interference. The first dilution is full strength, and we will see the pH as just a soap alone with no water added. I dip the probes in and we get a pH sitting around 7.3 to 7.4 at 25 degrees Celsius. Considering how Chemical Guys market their videos on YouTube being a pure neutral soap, I was a bit confused to see why it was almost 0.5 pH away from neutral, which is a 7. Obviously, in a realistic scenario, this is probably nothing and many folk will be happy with this result. But still a bit odd to see a bit of alkalinity in the solution for a product being heavily marketed as a neutral soap. Next, I will test 16 to 1. I pour Honeydew Snow Foam in a small plastic measurement cup and stir with a spoon, to which is then poured in a larger container to be filled with water. Large measurement cups with 1 ounce tick marks are pretty hard to read and pour properly, so instead I measure it in a smaller container just so it's easier and I could serve it properly. Now, it's hard to explain lubricity since there are not really units to use other than just the drag of a towel, so I will just dip my fingers in and give it a feel. Dipping my hand in the solution, I can already tell that this is some super slick stuff with lots of bubbles to help lubricate the surface during the agitation process. With full confidence, I can say that this stuff is some high quality lubricity. Now, onto the pH test. I dip both probes in the solution, and I get a pH around 7.6 to 7.8 at approximately 22 degrees Celsius. I am using deionized water from the tap source of my house, so a slight alkaline result isn't a big deal since that is where we will most likely wash our cars with. So at this dilution, it is pretty neutral. Next up is a dilution of 64 to 1. I wouldn't recommend this serving in a foam cannon, but in a wash bucket this is okay. The amount of lubricity is still holding strong with plenty of slickness to glide your mitt for a safe contact wash. As for the pH, interestingly enough, it actually gets closer to neutral the more you dilute it. This 64 to 1 solution was sitting at around a pH level of 7.4 at 23 degrees Celsius, which is still pretty neutral and definitely safe for all car surfaces. The next dilution is 128 to 1, or 1 gallon of water to 1 ounce of product. I transfer the solution to a bucket since I am going to be adding a lot of water for the other tests. Checking the lubricity, and it's still great even at a gallon-sized dilution. The pH, as you can see, keeps dropping to a neutral state the further you dilute it. Around a pH of 7.3 to at 23 degrees Celsius, this is pretty neutral compared to the previous dilutions. Following up is the 256 to 1 dilution, which happens to be the same ratio that Chemical Guys uses in almost all of their videos, saying 2 squirts in the bucket, which ratios at around 256 to 1. After giving it a healthy stir, I dip my hand and almost immediately I can tell that most of the lubricity is gone. Not gone as in it feels like water, but it's just slick enough to be a passing grade. If you're dealing with an expensive vehicle or with really soft paint, I probably wouldn't recommend this dilution. As for the pH, it's still going down and averaging at around a level of 7.2 at 22 degrees Celsius. Again, still very neutral. Finally, the most diluted in a realistic car wash, 640 to 1, or 5 gallons of water to 1 ounce of product. At this point, you're pretty much using the bare minimum for this product. One healthy stir later, I dip my hand and right away, there is no lubricity. It feels almost like water, and to be very honest with you, I would never wash a car with this dilution. It lacks so much lubricity that I am certain you can swirl your car if you are not careful or if there are a lot of contaminants on the surface. For the pH, this is as low as you can realistically get it to, sitting at around 7.1. This is so neutral that it will literally be as effective as using plain tap water, and no, I am not kidding you. At such a pH level, it will not and shall not clean any grime that could be on the surface by its very chemistry. Yeah, it can clean surface particles, but that's pretty much it. Alright, so let's talk about the lubricity and the pH. So let's start with the easy stuff first. The lubricity is actually pretty good in this product. In terms of like what dilution should you be using, I think in a foam cannon 16 to 1 is the sweet spot. Diluting it even more, I think you start to lose a lot of foaming capabilities as well as the slickness because it just runs off a lot more because there's more water added. So I think 16 to 1 is a great dilution for this soap. In terms of in a bucket wash, now in terms of a bucket wash solution, I would suggest 128 to 1. It's still slick enough, and even when you dip your wash mitt in there, and even if you squeeze it out just a little bit, when you glide it on the surface, it's still slick enough that it's going to be a safe contact wash, and you're going to get rid of all the surface contaminants that are going to be on top. Speaking of surface contaminants, let's talk about the pH for a bit here. pH neutral, which is a pH rating of 7. pH neutral is a inreactive solution, I would say. When it comes to car soaps, pH neutral, it was designed for it to not strip waxes, for it to not strip your sealants, your ceramic coatings. But think about this for a minute. If it can't strip waxes or sealants, which have essential oils to protect your vehicle, what makes you think that it's going to clean the vehicle? Think about it. If you're trying to protect your wax and sealant, ceramic coating, and all that stuff with a pH neutral soap, it's not going to clean any of the grime or traffic film, or worse, tree sap. So for people to say that Honeydew Snow Foam cleans is completely misleading, because pH neutral does not react with anything. It's such a dead formula that honestly the only thing that Honeydew Snow Foam is going to clean is just surface contaminants. Now, I'm not trying to say that this is a bad soap. It's not a bad soap. This is a high quality soap. It works well. I would suggest using Honeydew Snow Foam if you have a vehicle that is lightly dusty. If you have not washed your car in a month, maybe you went out mudding, or you have a lot of bird poop, tree sap, traffic film, and all that nastiness. This will not react with the panels, the grime, and all that sort of stuff. So Honeydew Snow Foam is not going to do it. And even if you do claim that, oh, I managed to clean all of it off, I say no to that. Very likely you abraded the contaminants out with your wash mitt trying to scrub it off. So hopefully that clears up any misconceptions of the soap. Alright, so now we're going to be checking out the foaming process, and now to a lot of people, I'm sure this is probably going to be the most important part of the video or for the review. So we're going to be checking the foaming capabilities of this at 16:1 dilution, and as for my equipment that I'll be using, I will be using the 50-foot Cobra Jet hose, a Mosmatic gun with a swivel on it, a stock Trinova foam cannon. I actually have it right here. It's somewhere. Oh, here it is. I have a stock Trinova foam cannon, and then I also have two machines that I'll be showcasing to you guys. The first one is the Greenworks pressure washer at 1.2 gallons per minute, and also I have a Rinseless 1322 TS at 2.1 gallons per minute, and I will be showing you guys the foaming output of those two machines with and without deionized water, because I actually do have a deionizer tank that filters out the water, so that way we don't have minerals within the water itself, because I do have not too hard water, but it's pretty high since it's above 200 and below 300 ppm. So I will be filtering out that water, so that way you guys, who I believe it's mobile detailers out there, they sometimes like to use spot-free water. I'll show you guys the foaming capabilities with and without DI water. So let's check out the foam process. For the foam test, we will be testing it on my own work van. It's not the dirtiest vehicle in the world, but just some minor grime built up that can be easily rinsed away. I won't prep the surface for this test, and I will explain why in a minute. The focus here is to check the foaming action on different machines with and without deionized water, so you can see how this will work in your setup if you're a weekend warrior using tap water, or a professional detailer utilizing DI water for mobile jobs. For all tests, we will be using the 16:1 dilution, since Chemical Guys recommends that dilution on all of their videos, so 1 ounce of product for every 16 ounces of water. You can add more soap if you want in your setup, but we will be using this dilution since it is a pretty standard and a fair benchmark. Since there is a light layer of dust and grime on the surface, I rinse the vehicle down to make sure the foam doesn't stick on without it giving us an inaccurate result. I would APC rinse this vehicle for my own sake, but for the sake of this test, I will leave that out. Stepping into the ring first, we have the Greenworks pressure washer at 1.2 gallons per minute with tap water at the 16:1 dilution with a stock Trinova foam cannon set to 45 degrees spray pattern. Foaming the vehicle up, you could tell right away that this is a runny-like foam. To those who watch every Chemical Guys video, you will know that this is not the shaving cream foam that they always present in their demo videos. There is a reason behind this, and I will explain it in a second. To some folk, this is more than enough foam for their wash, and honestly that is okay. There is nothing wrong with this result. It is mostly personal preference on how much foam is to be expected, so adjust accordingly to your setup. So if you have a lower end pressure washer with tap water, these are the kinds of results you can expect from this soap at the showcase dilution. After a rinse, I swap over to the Rinseless 1322 TS at 2.1 gallons per minute with tap water again at 16:1 dilution. Pulling the trigger, there is a heavy amount of recoil to the gun because there is more water coming out. Spraying the solution all over the vehicle, I will be very honest with you guys, it looks pretty much the same. I will say though that it has a more consistent sheet of foam, which extends your wash time greatly so you can go around the vehicle without having to worry about much about the foam drying up or dripping off the surface quickly. So by a small margin of flow output, I would say the experience is a bit better with longer lasting foam clinging onto the surface for an extended dwell time. Now here's where things start to speed up. Now we will switch back to the Greenworks machine at the 16:1 dilution, but this time we will be using DI water for the foam process. I made sure that I thoroughly ran DI water through the hoses so that way we don't have tap water and DI water mixing in the process. So after checking that I have 0 ppm on my TDS meter, I pulled the trigger, and as you can clearly see immediately we have much thicker foam. It clings onto the paint so much better and leaves a thick layer of suds to help lubricate the surface through the duration of the wash. DI water alone shows how significant the difference is between the foam quality and how much you can get from a lower end pressure washer. I will say though, if you over apply foam in a specific area, it will quickly turn into runny foam because of the excessive suds buildup. So for my folk out there with a low GPM machines, here are your results using DI water at the 16:1 dilution. For the final test, I swapped to the Rinseless 1322 TS at 2.1 gallons per minute with the same 16:1 dilution using deionized water. Holy hell, do the results speak for themselves. The amount of foam is so thick, and yet it clings so well on the paint with a single pass. This right here is the sweet spot for foam output, because anything higher than 2.5 gallons per minute, I'll be honest with you, is just overkill, and realistically speaking, you won't notice much of a difference around that flow rate and going even higher. So remember during the first test that I told you that it's not like those chemical guys videos that you see? Well, that is mainly because they are using deionized water and a high-end gas pressure washer in their setup, so that way they can get away with only using 2 ounces of soap or an inaccurate 2 squirts of solution that they call, quotations, 2 ounces. Now, I'm not trying to throw shade at the brand or anything. I actually do like several of their products they offer. It's just that it's misleading and inconvenient that they don't mention what they are using for the demo so people can be informed what exactly they are using instead of throwing clearly false information and letting newcomers to start on the wrong foot. So back to the test. Hopefully this gives you an idea if you have a pressure washer at I would say around 2 gallons per minute to 2.5, and hopefully this gives you an idea how much foam you will get at the 16:1 dilution with deionized water. Alright, now some of you probably been wondering why didn't I show a cleaning demonstration of Honeydew Snow Foam. So to put it very simply for you guys, I didn't want to do it because, well, this is a pH neutral soap, and if any of you have been following my channel for a while, you will know that I'm not really a fan of pH neutral soaps because they lack cleaning capabilities. When it comes to bird poop, tree sap, and traffic film, I would probably look at something a little bit more heavier. As you can see here, bird dropping, I have left it there for quite a while intentionally. Now, stuff like that, you would probably need to step it up to a much higher concentrated soap, so something that's between the brand of pH of 9, 10, and if you're trying to go really aggressive with the APC rinse, you'll have to go even higher than that. So yeah, I didn't really want to show a cleaning demonstration of the product because it's pH neutral. So yeah. Hopefully this clears up any misconceptions about the soap in terms of its cleaning capabilities. The next test is checking for streaks when left to dry on the sun. I chose to demo this on glass panel because it's easier to see from the inside of the vehicle. So I foamed the outside generously at the 16:1 dilution, specifically with deionized water, so I can only see the soap instead of water spots, which would give us a false result. After letting it dry up for about 10 minutes under 85 degrees Fahrenheit weather, you can clearly see that there are some streaks on the surface. This usually happens when soaps have a lot of dyes and fragrance in the chemistry solution, which in this case is honeydew fragrance and harsh green dyes. Luckily, after a light rinse and blow dry, the streaks were gone. I've said it before, and I'm not a fan of soaps with a lot of dyes and fragrances because I am detailing other people's vehicles. I want to have that peace in mind that I am working with just a cleaning soap rather than a therapeutic product. It's completely personal preference, and I acknowledge that there are fans of Honeydew Snow Foam and other similar products from Chemical Guys. But in terms of dyes and fragrance, they are just too harsh, and for this one, it's a no-go for me. Unfortunately, leaving the soap to dry on the plastic trim pieces can actually streak the surface pretty harshly, and it's really hard to remove or dress with that hard streaky line. So use common sense on your work time and keep that in mind for this product. For the final test, we are going to be checking if this soap can be used in a rinseless solution. I prep a bucket with Honeydew Snow Foam diluted at 256:1. The same dilution is in the spray bottle. I know it says O&R, but just ignore that because I was reusing a bottle at the time of recording. I selected a simple Chanel wash mitt and squeezed out the product to the point of dripping like every other rinseless wash solution technique. I spray the surface generously and wipe using the same wash procedure with crosshatch patterns and flipping the mitt once I reach halfway. The key is not to over soak the panel and neither to add too much product because at that point it will be pretty hard to remove with all that residue and foaming action. So after a wipe and dry with a premium microfiber towel, let us check out these results.
Alrighty now, so the most important question of all, did the rinseless solution actually work? Well, I'll be very honest with you guys, this is actually really clean. I actually got surprised that it actually did the trick. As you could see here, no streaks, none of that stuff. Wow, this actually worked. I did not suspect it to work at all. I seriously had doubts like, oh, it's probably going to foam too much and it's going to leave nasty residue. I would actually use this solution. Wow, this actually worked. I really did not expect it to work. Wow, pretty clean. This actually, wow, this does pass the rinseless solution test. I would suggest only a couple changes here. If you're going to do the rinseless solution with Honeydew Snow Foam, 256:1 is ideal. If you do 128:1, I think you're going to get too much foam activating here, and you're probably going to kill your drying towels really quickly because it's just too much foam activating on the surface. So I would stick with 256:1 in your bucket, and instead of Chanel wash mitts, I would use microfiber towels. I wouldn't use this and put a dirt trap or a rinse guard down there. And for both towels on the actual contact wash and the drying process, I would switch to high quality towels. These are the Rag Company edgeless towels. These are the 70/30 blend, really plush, really soft, and they absorb a lot of liquid. The only downside is that it's going to not clean, I would say, traffic film, bird poop, or any more heavier grime and all that stuff. But overall, it worked pretty well. Big thumbs up, Chemical Guys, for passing the rinseless solution test.
Alright, time for the finalized opinion of my thoughts on Honeydew's Snow Foam. So this was a very interesting video. I had an amazing time with this soap. A lot of things that I didn't know about it, and some things I had to clear up with the audience because there's a lot of misleading information about the soap, pH neutral, foaming, all that sort of stuff. For the ease of use, it's pretty good, I would say. It's really forgiving, especially in direct sunlight. And I was worried about that because it has a lot of dyes in it. It has a lot of fragrance in the soap, which could potentially cause that streakiness, that residue that stays on the surface, or even when it dries up. That's what worried me, but no, it rinsed away pretty easily, even when it was left to dry to the point where there's not even water present. So it worked pretty well. So ease of use is pretty good. For the instructions in the back, in terms of ease of use, you can easily follow these instructions. But however, the thing that is quite misleading, go on YouTube, look up any Chemical Guys video that talks about a soap. I'm sure for you fans out there, where is this one? I'm sure you've seen every Chemical Guys video that they do. Get your foam cannon, 2 squirts. To start off, 2 squirts is not even 2 ounces, because that's what they say in every video. 2 ounces is 2 squirts, which if you get a measurement cup, you will realize that those are not 2 ounces that are going there. 2 ounces is a good squeeze of the bottle just to even get 2 ounces in the foam cannon or your bucket wash solution. So in terms of ease of use, it's pretty misleading, especially in their videos. But on the back, it says to use 1 to 2 ounces for every 5 gallons of water. Like I said in my dilutions, I don't suggest that. I'd rather you do 128 to 1, so that way you have that slickness and also that safety net, so that way you make sure when you're doing the contact wash, it's a much more swirl-free experience when you're handling it. So yeah, in terms of ease of use, the smell isn't like that crazy. Or where's the bottle? It's because I have 2 different bottles here. I have a new bottle and then I have a used bottle. In terms of the smell, it smells pleasant, not gonna lie. It's not crazy to the point where it's spicy to your nose, where it kind of irritates it a little bit. It's actually a pretty pleasant smell if you dilute it properly. If you do obviously giant glugs of this product, it's gonna get smelly pretty quickly. And yeah, and for the dye in here, I'm very meticulous about what is the quality of my soap. I personally speaking, I prefer a soap that is more clear and fragrance free. Not that it's translucent 100% and that it smells like nothing. It's okay if they add a little bit of dye in it. It's okay if it smells a little bit. I just prefer soaps that don't have crazy amounts of dye in the product. So yeah, I'm not really a fan of this soap when it comes to like just maintenance washes. I want to have that peace of mind that there's nothing in the solution that would cause any sort of interference during my dry process or the wash process and all that sort of stuff. Ease of use, I would give it an 8 out of 10. Only because it has that streaky potential with the fragrance and the dyes that are in the product. It's okay. It's just I'm a little kind of nitpicking right here at this point. But I don't like a soap with too much dyes, like I said, and fragrance. And also when it dried up on the trim, it left pretty harsh lines on the trim piece right there. So if in ease of use, if you let it dry 100% on the surface, especially on trim surfaces, this will streak pretty harshly, and it is a little difficult to remove on trim pieces. So yeah, that's probably the reason why I gave it an 8 out of 10. Now, next up is versatility. I would give this an 8 out of 10. Only, and it comes back to that dye problem and the fragrance. In terms of versatility, you can use this in a maintenance wash solution. You can use this in a rinseless solution, which gave it lots of points because I didn't want this soap to just be a soap. I want it to be something else. You can use this after you do an iron removal. So that way, once you flood the vehicle with water and you want to make sure that the surface is neutralized, you can use this to neutralize the iron remover that's on the vehicle or any potential residue. Foam the whole vehicle, rinse it down. You can use this in your iron removal process. Engine cleaning, and again, I come back to that point, because there's a lot of dyes in here and fragrance, I don't want to have that thought in my mind that there's residue getting inside the engine and it's dyes and fragrance. So for versatility, I would give this an 8 out of 10. And for cleaning capabilities, oof. I'm gonna have to be a little brutal on this one. I will have to give it a 5 out of 10 because realistically speaking, from a business perspective, again, from a business perspective, I have to give this a 5 out of 10 because this does not clean at all. This is strictly a maintenance wash soap. So stuff like traffic film, bird droppings, tree sap, iron deposits, brake dust, all that sort of stuff. This is not going to do anything on those surfaces. This is just a soapy film and that's it. Actually, that's a good description for this. It's just a soapy film and doesn't do anything else. So in terms of cleaning potential, because it's pH neutral, I can't really recommend this for businesses because you are going to be dealing with a lot of dirty vehicles. And honestly, this is not going to do anything. And even if you do claim that you did anything with this soap, I will honestly believe that you were scrubbing the vehicle instead of letting the soap do the work for you. So Yeah, unfortunately I have to give it a 5 out of 10 since this doesn't really have great cleaning potentials. But however, it is a great maintenance soap, but that's pretty much it, to be very honest with you. So yeah, 5 out of 10 for the cleaning potential. Now for foaming capabilities, I'll give this an 8. This is actually really good at foaming. The only reason why I marked it down 2 points is because its claims on its videos, because it says it'll give 2 squirts for your foam cannon, give 2 squirts for your bucket solution. Honestly, it's really misleading, and especially if you call it a snow foam. And I've actually tried that method, 2 squirts. It's just honestly pea water at that point. It's so runny, that method. So when I actually measured it out, 2 ounces, this foams very nicely. So for the foaming process, I would stick with 16:1 in the foam cannon and 128:1 on the bucket wash solution. And in terms of foaminess, this actually works pretty well. It clings onto the paint really well. It doesn't run off that quickly. Obviously, use your common sense. If you flood one area with foam, it's going to start running off the paint. So in terms of foaminess, I would give this an 8 out of 10. Really great foam. You don't need that much to lather the whole vehicle with it. So yeah, 8 out of 10 for the foaming. Now for the price value. How much does this cost? This 16-ounce bottle, I've seen it, well, specifically USD in North America. I've seen this go for $10, $9.99. Maybe you can catch it on a sale for $8. But for this video, I'm going to be using the $10 price point. This is actually a really good soap to use if you're going to use it in your arsenal. It has a lot of bang for the buck because you can quite literally use just 2 ounces and be happy with your process. And I've actually have the number right here. If you buy this 16-ounce bottle for $10, you're looking at around 0.62, yeah, 0.62 cents per ounce of this product. In terms of the gallon, because there is a gallon variant, that one costs, from what I've seen at the Chemical Guy's website, that one is $30, which is approximately 23 cents per ounce. So in terms of price value, this is actually really valuable. You get a lot of bang for the buck. You have a wide range of dilutions for your buckets and your foam cannon. So yeah, in terms of price value, I give this a 9 out of 10. This has a really good range for potential. You can dilute this a lot. It foams great. It smells great. And you have the option of getting either the 16-ounce bottle or the gallon option. And there's a lot of detailing products out there that don't even offer the 16-ounce bottle. They just give you a gallon, and if you like it, you enjoy it. And if you don't, then you have a gallon just sitting collecting dust in your garage. So I thank Chemical Guys for offering the 16-ounce bottle, because it gives detailers, weekend warriors, to try out the product before they even consider getting a gallon, or if they even want to get a gallon. Alright, so for my final ranking of Chemical Guy's Honeydew Snow Foam, what is the rank? From 0 to 10, what do I think? Honestly, I would give this a 7.6 out of 10. It's not a bad rating, to be honest. For me, once you start getting a bad rating, that's like below 6, I would say. 7.6 is actually a pretty good score. Like I said from my critiques, I'm not really a fan of it being heavy on dyes, heavy on fragrance. If you're gonna make a pH neutral soap, I just hope it doesn't have a lot of dyes or fragrance in it, because I don't want to be having that thought in my mind about a potential residue on the surface if it dries up, or you don't wipe it off accordingly when you do the drying process. And in terms of the foaming capabilities, it's really great. Who should buy this? If you're a weekend warrior and you don't really buy that much product, if you're a weekend warrior who is, you know, pretty relaxed about the therapeutic nature of car soaps, yes, this is actually a pretty good option. If you're a business owner who details as a business, I would say no to this one. Only because there's other options out there, I don't want to name them just yet, that they offer gallon size options. They're much more dilutable. They foam almost as equal as this one. It's much cheaper, to be honest, a lot safer, and cleans a lot better. That's my key word right there. That cleans a lot more. So yeah, from a business perspective, no. But if you're a weekend warrior, go for it. It's a completely good option right here for you. So 7.6 out of 10. This is actually a really good soap, and I can recommend it to a lot of people. It's not a bad soap. It may have sounded like I'm trying to hammer down on chemical guys for making this soap. It's not a bad soap. It's a great soap. It's just that for my use case as a business owner, it's not the soap for me, but it's a pretty good soap. All right, so there we have it, folks. Hopefully this review kind of summarizes everything about what I look for in a product. How do I review it? Some people may agree with me, some people don't, but hey, that's perfectly fine. That's what a detailing community is. We agree on things, we disagree on things, we input some comments, we don't. That's completely fine. Everything is subjective and it's based off personal opinion. And if you're a business owner, you might understand me a lot better. If you're a car enthusiast, you probably have different thoughts on my review. But overall, hopefully this clears up any misconceptions between the chemical guys, Honeydew Snow Foam. And if you want to pick that up, make your decision. If not, well, next video then. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for subscribing. Leave a like and share this with your friends and comment down below. What's your opinion on Honeydew Snow Foam? How do you guys use it in your wash process, your business, etc.? Let me know down below. So yeah, I am out of here, guys. Thank you for watching. Stay safe. Have a good time.